Welcome to the Jones Zone, a podcast by Darryl and JJ Jones.
Hope you enjoy this episode. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for similar content. We have videos explaining escrow, title insurance, how to get top dollar for your house, mistakes sellers make all the time, how to evict a bad tenant, and so much more.
So here's the kicker, and this is a reality. If you're a seller and you do have that smoke smell in there and the bar moves in and they're sensitive and you don't disclose, it's in the carpeting, it's in the paint, it's in the ceiling. So now you got to tear out the floor. Okay, now you got to repaint the walls, and the smell doesn't go away. So what about the tapestries, the drapery, all that stuff? Buyers have purchased these homes and nobody disclosed, and they had these issues after the fact. If you had somebody smoking in the house, just say yes.
I got a war story about odors. I had a house, and this was years ago, and obviously I'm not disclosing any of my beautiful clients' names. It had a bad odor, and oh my goodness, we didn't know what the heck it was. And I don't know. We just couldn't really ask the seller. It was a little awkward situation, and my stagers were there, and they were staging the property, and we found out what it was. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Jones Zone, live from Davos, Switzerland. We've got John and Walt Tamulinas. We're going to talk about things that sellers can do to protect themselves in a transaction, along with all the new laws, or some of the new laws and rules and regulations that were passed that are coming in effect here in 2026. A lot of things that are, I guess I'm not supposed to say how silly they are, so I won't. I need to start off with saying, hey, this is not meant as legal or tax advice. Listeners are directed to verify information with their own experts, such as attorneys, accountants, brokers, etc. So take that for what it is, and I appreciate you joining us. So Walt and John have been in the industry. Gosh, we've got probably, almost 150 years or maybe 125 years
combined with the three of us, right?
Yeah, of transactional experience right here. Walt you represent the buyer or the seller in the Louisiana purchase?
Both.
Oh, you double into
that
that one.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you spoke French. That's good for you. Tell us, why shouldn't you wait to buy a house, and why is now the right time? Of course, I don't know. This seems so canned because agents are going to tell you, now's the time, and I never basically say that, because to really answer that question, you don't know what's going to happen in 6 months or the future. I mean, it's funny, people talk about, they think rates are going to come down, or nobody ever knows.
The stat on that, though, I mean, if you look at it since 1990, home values in Southern California have gone up almost 394%.
So this is why now is the time to buy a house.
Right.
Well,
I guess that's true.
That's a whole separate seminar with lots of details, Darryl, but here's the bottom line. A buyer cannot outsave inflation. There's two things that drive prices. One is demand and supply. Right now we have our supply is still a little lean. It's getting better. There's more homes on the market than there was last year for sure. And so the homes are staying on the market longer. And it's not a buyer's market yet, but the needle's moving that way. And so let's just say that the prices stabilize, then the buyer still cannot outsave inflation and appreciation. And so you have $1 million home that appreciates at 4%, that's $40,000. Can a buyer save $3,500 a month? And then they're going to have to add 20% to that because the price went up next year. And that's the real issue. It's better just to bite the bullet, do whatever you can, borrow, beg, from your relatives, get everybody that get involved in this little syndication to buy the home. Get in at any cost. And people say, I'm going to wait for interest rates to come down. Are you kidding me? The cost of waiting for a 0.5% decrease in interest rate will cost you tens of thousands of dollars. It's very easy math. You just call Darryl or me or John, and we'll go over the math with you and
only
show
put
you
my number on the screen.
Why it's impossible to outsave inflation. Now maybe you're going to win the lotto in 2 months. Well, okay, then wait. But no, there's no better time than right now. And it's only because of the issue of supply and demand, appreciation, and inflation both. Inflation is the fact that, next year a house is going to cost more because it costs more to build it. The lumber's more, the screws are more, the cement's more, the roofing materials are more. So that's inflation. That's not appreciation. Appreciation is hit in the supply and demand market when we have no homes for sale and 5 buyers for every home. That's where you get a lot of force on it. And now that's settling down. We're getting into a normal market now. Not quite there, but we're getting there. And you still can't outsave, inflation. You can't. It's impossible. So, and I don't care if you have 2 household earners or 3 household or 10 household earners. There's no way to outsave inflation. So you get into whatever rate you can get now. The rates aren't that bad historically. They're in the fives. I've been doing this for many decades, and that's always been a good rate in the fives. And we were spoiled by 3, never going to happen in our lifetimes, or maybe 4s. Listen, you can do your 5% rate now. A couple of years from now, if I'm wrong and you're right and the rates go down, go ahead and refinance it.
Well, there's the phrase. I don't know if Dave Ramsey came up with it. Probably not, but he's pretty sharp. In fact, even he, I think, is now softened up on his save big down payments and everything, because you can't outsave inflation. And it's date the rate and buy the house. No,
Date the rate, marry the house.
date the rate and marry the house, meaning you just
But
get the house. And you can always change the rate later.
Speaking of the rate, though, I mean, everybody's waiting for rates to come down. If you look at it, according to our lender, for the median price, if you're at 1%, so if we're waiting for 6 to 5%, that's approximately $500 to $600 in mortgage payment. So what's happening right now is it's pretty quiet. I mean, you have choices. When you're working with a buyer, you can go out and see some homes. Yeah, their inventory is not where it should be, but demand isn't as high as it has been. So you go out, you find the home you want, you write the offer you want, and maybe the seller will make a concession, right? So you get that home in the neighborhood you want for the price you want. If you can afford today's rate, mind you, it's only about $500-600 difference, 1%. Rates come down, you refinance. So you get the home you want in the area you want for the price you want, and eventually you'll get that monthly payment. And all while what happens is when rates do go down, we're going to see a surge in demand.
I'm telling you.
And prices are going to go up, so you're going to see that appreciation and that equity. You're going to make money right there, and it's going to offset any difference in interest rate.
That is some of the best counterintuitive advice you can give, because I've seen that. I mean, meaning inventory, because when rates go down, at least we've seen this in the past, when the rates have gone down, then demand picks up and the buyers get flooded on the market and the prices shoot up like that. This is so counterintuitive. And we saw this at 2022 when rates doubled in just a matter of months.
Right.
And all of a sudden, when they were 2.5% or less, I know, for example, in the city of Bray, we'll take that, we got down to 5 properties on the entire market. And that was brutal for buyers. Buyers were fighting over, we'd have 30 offers on every listing easily and more. And when rates jumped up, people thought, wow, this is horrible for buyers. Okay, partially, but not totally, because all of a sudden now things weren't selling. They weren't having 30, 50 offers on each house. Inventory started climbing, and all of a sudden it really became a better scenario for buyers because they had more choices. So it's a little counterintuitive. I mean, you almost want rates to go up a little bit, get your house, and then wait. Obviously, there's a lot of things that have to come together here, the stars. But when rates go down, there's that equity starts shooting up. So, yeah.
So your point, I think, and what I'm hearing is, you as a buyer, you don't go when everyone else is going. You go when everyone else is not going.
Warren Buffett, right? I think.
Right.
Buy.
And I'll tell you what I look forward to. I want to talk to my good friend President Trump. Donald, are you listening to me? I hope you're watching the show, because here's what I want you to do. I want you to allow me to take my mortgage, which is at 3%, to my next home. Let's get that legislation passed where we can take the mortgage with us to the next home.
That's
like we take our property taxes with us. Number one. Okay. Number two, I worked 30 years for this home. I don't want to share my profits with you. Get rid of capital gains. You don't need my hard-earned money. I put the payments in this house. I did the work on this house. I waited until it was worth millions of dollars. I want to take that all with me. I don't want to share it with you calling capital gains taxes. Could you please help that? You got 3 more years. Let's get that done.
Two things, just to explain what Walt's talking about too, is there's some whispers in Washington about being able to take your loan to other properties. I don't know if there's a name for that other than what I just said. I'm sure there's
Transferring the loan.
Prop 99.
How cool that would be.
Yeah, you got a loan and you want to just take that 4% interest rate to the next property. Oh my goodness. And I'll tell you right now, I mean, you hit on something too. They're talking about inventory being low. In fact, I even had some sellers approach me, or potential sellers that talked about, hey, we're going to wait to see if they stop doing the capital gains tax. And I said, well, boy, let's think this through. If they cut capital gains tax, all of a sudden a bunch of properties are going to be coming on the market, and prices are probably, this sounds counterintuitive possibly, prices are going to more than likely dip. Typically it's all supply and demand, bottom line. Yeah. And we get a bigger supply, values are going to dip. And so you might not want to wait as a seller. And it does make sense, in my opinion, they really wanted to cure the housing shortage. Well, first of all, they'd allow for more permits for more building. That's a no-brainer. But if they did wipe out capital gains tax, I think that would help buyers a lot. Not only sellers because they'd get that, but it'd help buyers because they would have more choices. Don't you think?
Yeah, regulations is the cost of the house right now. That's the bottom line, especially in California. Yeah.
And if I were a seller and I were sitting on the fence right now, or I canceled my listing because it didn't sell with another agent sometime in fourth quarter 25.
They have my number.
Yeah, they have your number. I would be thinking about getting ready to sell now if I was on the fence, just because we know sometime in May we may be doing something with the Fed chair, and there's a lot of downward pressure to get that rate down another percent. And I think when we do that, we're going to start to see some surge in demand. And buyers out there that are on the fence, you don't want to wait, because when you do, you're going to have more competition.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Let's just throw one little example in. I know it's off topic, but I want to throw this in now anyway. One of the most underutilized and misunderstood tools that we have in our toolbox in real estate is the reverse mortgage. Folks, if you qualify for a reverse mortgage and you've got debt equity in your home, take advantage of it. Listen to this scenario. I own a home for $2 million. And my dream is to retire in Palm Springs. I could buy a home there for $1 million, $1.2 million right now. Put a reverse mortgage on your home. Go to Palm Springs and buy that home. And you're not going to move there for a couple of years. What you do with the money that comes out of your home on a reverse mortgage is your business. You take it and you go put it in Palm Springs and buy your home and rent that home until you're ready to retire. That rent will cover the mortgage payment on your home. So there's no downside. What you've done is you've taken your debt equity and now you control two properties. Everybody should be using a reverse mortgage to buy their retirement home right now.
Not to splash some water on that flame, but don't you on a reverse mortgage need to live in the property?
You're living in the home you're in. You're not going to retire for 2 years.
Okay, so
you're buying your retirement home now.
Oh, because you've already pulled the money out.
Let me ask you, Darryl, how much is that retirement home going to be in 2 years? Is it going to be more or less?
I'm not arguing with your premise at all. I think that's a great idea.
Using debt equity to buy a retirement home, you have to stay in the home that has a reverse mortgage, yes, of course.
For a certain amount of time.
When you move, you're going to pay it off. So let's say you retire, you're going to retire in 3 years.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Your retirement home's there, and you have two homes escalating in value for the next 3 years, the next 4, the next 5 years.
Sell the other one, then you pay it off.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, let's talk about some of the changes here too. I tell you, this one really intrigued me about AI. Now, AI being used in a lot of photos, or everywhere for that matter. But tell us, John, a little bit about the new rules for everybody about virtual staging and touching up photos. I mean, I know my photos are beautiful. Tell us about.
Okay, so AI has changed a lot of what we do, and I think that right now, if we are going to be modifying a photo, right? If we're going to be changing the kitchen, making the grass look green, removing telephone poles or power lines, we need to make sure we disclose that this photo has been digitally altered. Okay, number one. Number two, we need to provide the photo, the unaltered photo.
The before photo. It's kind of like the surgeries they give for people, the before and after,
right.
Facelift or surgery or whatever.
In addition to that, we need to provide a QR code or a link to where they can see the unaltered image.
Or provide the photo.
Yeah. And
one of the two.
Yeah. So this isn't just for our MLS. This is for any advertising, social media, YouTube, any advertising of the property that we do for the client. This must be disclosed. Yeah. Right. And it can't be a 1 second flash. It has to be prominent. It has to be unaltered. So on the digitally altered photo, I mean, you look at it like a lot of time we have a fireplace. Okay. And it's a wood burning fireplace, whereas this thing is really small and it's a gas burn only, and there's a tiny little log in there. If the buyer sees it and they're like, I really like that fireplace, and
how can you tell if it's a wood or gas burning
fire?
Well,
if it's this giant fire in this tiny little,
it's like Smokey the Bear's in there.
Right.
Well, yeah, but yeah, okay. But I mean, well, let's take that further. And maybe you don't know the answer to this, but if it's a gas fireplace and the photographer puts a little fire in there, that's actually got to be disclosed.
It's digitally altered. As soon as you digitally alter it, even if it's your photographer, it's done. Even if they take a television and they put a different picture on the television, or they lighten
Yeah.
the windows outside.
Yeah.
And you can see the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those are digitally altered.
Well, you
so.
did. We ran mine through there, and it gave me mascara. That
Yeah.
When are you going to
They
stop
got it.
using your high
Eyeliner.
school picture? That's what I
Yeah.
want to know.
Huh? Well, that's how real estate agents stay young. They use old photos.
Right.
What about HOA? So here's one. I'm going to refer to my notes. A balcony elevated element inspection report. Talk to us about that. That's a new rule, huh?
Oh yeah, it's got to do with the number of units. Balconies are becoming a nightmare because there's so much litigation in associations over these balconies. It seems like there used to be a skylight. If you have a skylight, it's guaranteed to leak, and if you have a balcony now, it's guaranteed to get rotten. And so there's new legislation that talks about what we need to do in order to comply with the lending standards these days.
So somebody's balcony collapsed, and an attorney got a hold of this, and now it's a federal mandate, right?
Kind of like the merry-go-rounds. I know this sounds off the wall, but I just listed a house. It goes on the market today that has a merry-go-round. Remember those when we were kids? I don't know, John. Yeah, you probably remember. But remember merry-go-rounds?
No.
The little spinners, the little spinners.
Yeah,
Ferris
where you fly off.
Yeah,
Oh, no, merry-go-round, not a
Okay,
Ferris wheel.
okay,
So the
merry-go-round.
merry-go-rounds back in whenever, same thing, an attorney got a hold of it. Well, I went to this guy's house, and he says, oh, check in my backyard. He's got a merry-go-round back there. And I'm going, this is awesome. I haven't seen this for 20 years. Well, what happened when California outlawed merry-go-rounds, they had to replace them from or take them out of all the parks and schools, etc. Well, his brother was apparently, that was his job, was removing some, and he said, hey, do you want this
I'll be
merry-go-round?
darned.
He came over and installed it in his house. It's the coolest thing ever. It's just so neat. A merry-go-round, for those of you who don't know, is things that we as kids used to go, and it would go really fast. You'd hang on, you'd fly off. And,
No, they have seatbelts now.
Oh, they have seatbelts.
Yeah.
Daryl, what I want to know is who is Mary?
Okay.
It's Merry.
Oh,
You're happy.
okay.
Yeah.
No, Mary was your girlfriend in high school. Merry-go-round.
Okay, so now with this new legislation, HOAs are required to provide the buyer a balcony inspection report along with the HOA documents that a lot of times they pay for. So this is going to be during your contingency period. You see that they have that report. Now, if it's an HOA and they don't have the report, they have to get the balconies inspected, and a lot of times they have to have repairs that must be done in order for the HOA or for the complex to be approved and lendable. If it's not, and you're a buyer and you're trying to get a loan in this complex, you're going to have an issue.
Okay, so this is about associations, people that are buying properties that are in HOAs.
Correct.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. What about the new seller disclosure for nicotine, for tobacco nicotine residue? This sounds like an interesting one. So what's this new law about having to disclose tobacco use or what?
Well, the rule is that sellers and sellers agents have this dog-like sense of smell, and we have to disclose. And buyers, they can't smell it. So, if you're a homeowner and you have had a tenant in there that was smoking, or you smoked anywhere on the property and you could smell it, or there's residue in your seller property questionnaire, there's another question that you have to disclose to the buyer that yes, there's evidence of tobacco or smoke in
Or
this
what?
house.
Just tobacco? What about California? They've got the
It's smoke.
okay.
Okay, so it's a new question and it's a new disclosure because somebody could be sensitive to that smoke. You close escrow with the wrong buyer and they're extremely sensitive to nicotine or tobacco, or they have asthma. You never know.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a story about that, Daryl. Many years ago, I represented a huge corporate executive, actually it was his widow, in buying a home. And I asked my buyers, look, go through the house, you don't have to look at it from the outside. Let's go in the house. I want to see if you like the floor plan. So that was my requirement. I'm going to show you. You got to look at the house when I pull up here. They're waiting for us. And so we walked in, and this lady got in the front door, and she turned right around. She says, I can't go in that house. And we got in the car, and I said, well, what happened? Why can't you go in that house? She says, my husband died of secondhand smoke inhalation. He never smoked in his life, and that's
Of course,
how
that's
he
kind
died.
of been debunked,
But here's the thing. John said it. Some people are hypersensitive to that. They don't like the smell of that. And so, and now there are actually things that can disguise that smell for a temporary period of time.
Oh.
So you want to make sure you know about that, the deodorizers
Blade
that you put in
plugins.
there,
Oh, yeah.
all the little tricks that we use to take the smell out. That only lasts temporarily until that deodorizer stops working. And then you gotta make sure if it's stinky With smoke smell, you got to disclose.
So here's the kicker, and this is a reality. If you're a seller and you do have that smoke smell in there, and the bar moves in and they're sensitive, and you don't disclose, it's in the carpeting, it's in the paint, it's in the ceiling. So now you got to tear out the floor. Okay, now you got to repaint the walls, and the smell doesn't go away. So what about the drywall? What about the ceiling? What about the tapestries, the drapery, all that stuff? So the list goes on and on. So now it's because buyers have purchased these homes and nobody disclosed, and they had these issues after the fact. So this is something, it's a no-brainer for the seller. If you had somebody smoking in the house, just say yes and tell them what it was.
I got a war story about odors. I had a house, and this was years ago, and obviously I'm not disclosing any of my beautiful, beautiful clients' names, but it had a bad odor, and oh my goodness, and we didn't know what the heck it was, and I don't know. We just couldn't really ask the seller. It was a little awkward situation, and my stagers were there, and they were staging the property, and we found out what it was. Our poor seller was incontinent, and so there was just a bad odor. That boy, that was a tough one. That was one of the hardest sells we had to make.
So the proper disclosure on that is noticeable odor. And that's the thing for sellers. If there's a urine smell, I mean, we don't know exactly what it's a noticeable. It could be mold. You never know. Noticeable odor, right? We're not defining on its urine or its mold, or it could
dog
be
or human,
dog.
alien.
Walt, John, thank you so much. Seriously, you guys have been a wealth of knowledge for our viewers, and I just really appreciate you guys doing this. And just to remind you, this is not meant as legal or tax advice. Listeners are directed to verify information with their own experts, attorneys, accountants, brokers, etc.
Lenders,
whoever you need to.
mold inspectors.
Okay, we'll put a list of things, John.
I got to do a little commercial here at the end, Darryl. You know, I've worked in this business for decades, and I have to tell you that I want to brag about you for a minute here, because you are just one of the most amazing people to work with in the business. I see how hard you work day in and day out, very, very little vacation. You've sacrificed so much to do what you do for your clients, and year in, year out, you're one of the top agents in the county, a humble man, a good man, a caring man. It's hard to describe what I see in you, and I'm just so proud to be affiliated with you, because you are the guy that really does care.
Oh, well, thank you. Here's that money. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you. But I tell you, it's the team I got. I think I've just got such a great team. My team is just second to none. Everybody on there is just so phenomenal. Chad, Dodie, and Jill, and Shannon, and you two as well. I mean, everybody. If I've missed anybody, forgive me. But it's just at the stager, the photographer, all the vendors. I mean, we just have a
escrow, mortgage,
title. Everything's just
the agents on your team.
Yeah, all the agents on our team, Ingrid and Jennifer and everybody. I mean, it's just phenomenal. So thank you for
that. You guys do a great job.
That was
We're
very
proud
nice.
of you.
So,
Thank you, Darryl.
all right, I hope you guys found this useful. And I tell you, we have podcasts on most any topic that has to do with real estate. Scroll through there and watch a couple other shows for us, and press that like, and more importantly, that subscribe button if you can. So thank you. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're good?
All right.
Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe for more.